Yeah, that's more like a house version.
Boing, boing. I mean, welcome everybody to the Alternative Flex podcast. This episode, if you cannot tell, is going to be very interesting. We have a bunch of topics to talk about today. We're going to talk about the third black craft brewery to open in Pennsylvania. So the three black craft breweries that are in the state of Pennsylvania, a state that arguably has some of the best craft beer and the most craft beer in a state.
Yeah.
Not the most in any state, but it has a shit ton per capita. Like we'll just call it that. We're gonna talk about Super Bowl predictions. We're gonna talk about Jay-Z's critique on award ceremonies. We're also gonna talk about Tyler's freedom. But
Freedom.
But before we get into any of that,
Beer.
that's right. Chris, what are you drinking?
Today I am drinking a very nice Mud Hen 1883 IPA
Hold up.
from Mud Hen Brewing Company.
Hold up. First off, Connor, go back upstairs.
The chaos has already begun. Just he's part of the show now. Just let him be part of the show.
First and foremost, you got to give a big shout out to Mud Hen, because Mud Hen, every time that we've had interactions with them, I feel has been wonderful. It definitely takes me back to the beer festival that we worked together at Citizens Bank Park. We got to talk to them. Yeah, and they are very nice. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out because they have been nothing but good to us.
Yeah, they're extremely nice. And the other thing that's extremely nice about Mud Hen is their location. The fact that, have you been?
I have not. Are they in Wildwood?
They're in Wildwood, like legitimately on like the main road in. So,
On the crest?
they're not on the crest. They're kind of in the quote unquote downtowny area. Like, you're coming in that old school Wawa to the right.
Yes.
So
Oh, okay.
if you're going down that road, that's the road that takes you right to the parking lot.
Can you tell we had some wonderful summers as kids, like going there together? Because the way that just took me back.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's literally like the main road that goes north and south and the main road that goes east and west. It's either right on that intersection or a block off of that intersection.
Okay.
On the main road in. Huge. It is the biggest.
The
It is
best.
the biggest, the best. Do you know he's going to be in Harrisburg tomorrow?
Oh God, enjoy.
I don't have to drive in tomorrow, thank God. But everyone was like, "Hey, if you have to drive in tomorrow, like, don't bother." Because there's an NRA rally at the outdoors show, and Trump is going to be there.
Of course there is.
If you thought the traffic was bad for the outdoorsman show in Pennsylvania, imagine that plus Trump and the NRA.
God, and it's a perfect location for Pennsylvania to just show up anyway. So
it's a central location for Pennsylvania. And anyone who's out of, like, not from the area, they're probably in the area for the outdoors show.
Right. I mean, like, you would be, it's not like you're telling them to come to Philadelphia or Pittsburgh or something like that. They're going to be like, oh, I would drive into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Also, I was already going because I wanted what the next like gun safe looks like, the newest model gun safe. Because I didn't know what the outdoorsman show was.
Guns.
Actually, until I worked there, I'm like, outdoors. So is it like hiking, like maybe
kayaks?
Yeah, here's the newest model, kayak or canoe or something. It's like, no, it's literally hunting and fishing, but it's mostly just guns and gun accessories.
Yeah, it's like maybe there'll be a cool GoPro tent.
Nope, not that kind of outdoors. The outdoors, it's like the furthest you get from guns is a fishing rod and maybe a bow and arrow. Like, that's it. The rest is guns and furniture that can hold guns in various forms. So it doesn't surprise me that the NRA is having a rally there. Plus, to me, an NRA rally is just funny. I don't know. I don't know why, but that's like a funny premise for a sketch, I feel like. Anyway, somehow, oh, Mudhen, Wildwood, huge location. So the inside is massive, huge, huge inside. But when we were there, it was still during the COVID times where you had to be outside. So they have, as big as their indoor location is, they have like they must have like the property next to them too, and it's just an entire yard, and with like an extra bar, half of it's completely covered with fans and stuff. It's like one of the nicest locations for a brewery I've ever been at. And of course, it's like 2 blocks from the beach, 3 blocks from the beach. So beer's good, food's good, location's great. Had to pick this up when I saw it on the tap list, and I apparently never checked this in.
Ah,
1883 IPA. I remember. I feel like I remember this. I
mm,
feel like this is kind of like their flagship IPA. It's delicious. It's 6.5%. I got in a crowler, so I don't have like any of the other stats
right.
with besides ABV. But I'm going like a 4.25 to a 4.5 on this right now. I think 4.5.
Nice. No, I mean, as I said, they're great people. Anyone that I've ever met that's associated with Mudhen has been very warm, very welcoming. Just overall cool people. Uh, and they're just like within reach. So I think something to reach out to them and try to set something up would be wonderful
Yeah.
as we look towards the future. Carbon copy might actually come up into this conversation later as well because I got a chance to. They did a tap takeover at Meeting House just up the street. So we went over and we saw
Yeah,
those guys
that's like a dynamic. That's like
shit.
a dynamic duo of alternative blacks
Yeah,
friends.
yeah, I like talk about Brendan, who is the quietest motherfucker ever, um, being one of the most gregarious people in the moment, and it was great. He like sat down on Hannah's lap, like it was just fine.
Wait. Did you say gregarious?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you pull that one from like the SAT prep? Like, where'd
Yeah,
you
it's
pull
right here. It's my word of the day.
his erroneous actions?
No, today's word of the day at the school was sit down. 2 words. Double Jeopardy, baby.
Yeah, if you couldn't tell that Tyler works at a high school,
No, no, this is the middle school. Gregarious definitely wasn't up there. They don't know how to spell elephant.
yeah, but they sure were gregarious, I'm sure,
Anywho,
and dangerous.
Mudhen, dope people. I can't wait to check out the spot myself.
Yes,
Um, Going into one of the first conversations that we're going to have today is about two locals because I am drinking their Lofa Lager. And I don't know if you
nice.
had the Lofa Lager yet, but it
I've
is
I've seen the can at very least. I don't know if I've actually had it yet.
so good. So it's their happy hour beer, right? Um,
Ooh,
and
so you're
it's a
getting a lot.
one, and like they do a hefty pour for their happy hour beer too for $5. Um, Named after the birthplace of their father, Lofa County, Liberia. Lofa Lager is our no frills, easygoing go to beer, which we choose after a day's work for a day on the beach or watching the game with family and friends. It is refreshing. It's no nonsense. You're not getting like crazy notes of anything in it. It's just a straight up lager, and it is incredible.
Strong.
I mean, it's clean, it's
Look
clear.
at that. Yeah.
Um, I forget what the ABV on this is. I can't imagine it being anything. Oh, 4.5. So it's like a standard. Um,
So this is just like the flagship easy drinking IP or not IPA, easy drinking lager.
yeah. And let me tell you something. Since I've gone, like, I went to it on a soft opening day,
Yeah.
and not the big soft opening. So that big like private soft opening was huge. The more like flaccid soft opening, wasn't as many people there. The kitchen wasn't open because they partner with Liberty Kitchens.
Okay.
But it's so cool to be in there. They showed the love by like throwing out the they were like alternative blacks, right? I was like, yeah, and they're like, boom, and like threw the coaster in front of me. I was like,
These
that's
guys, like, when I tell you, I'm so hyped that they're open now,
mm-hmm.
and we've talked about it like on the show so many times. Like,
Yeah.
come in December, like, we come on, I need it.
Right. Our stickers on their beer fridge already. I thought I was gonna have to bring a sticker in, and it was already on there because like I'm looking at Crowns and Hops, all these other things. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna have to bring my stuff. And like saw the sticker, I was like, that's so fucking dope. Um, so shout out to them. I went today, and I think they're in a perfect location because they're in like the heart of not the heart. They're on like the outskirts of University City, but like again, just enough. They're like near UPenn. It's all these things of like professor. Like it looks like people that are either working at Drexel in some capacity or professors or just like grad students
Yeah.
coming in, having some food, having a drink. And I was trying to like I was scoping it out too because it's two separate businesses, right? It's Liberty Kitchen, it's two locals. Um,
Okay. Yeah, all right.
and so, a lot of people had food, and so I was like checking out the people that were eating to make sure like are they strictly coming here for food? Like what's the vibe here? And they were coming here for food, there was drinks. I haven't gone yet where there wasn't another black person there.
Okay.
So that's like, and I'm not just talking about workers, but workers are also representative of that as well, which is cool. So it's been a really cool experience. I was jumping today, and it just felt good to go in there because they're open every day. I think 12 to whatever, right? So and that it's what, in my perspective, West Philly needs because West Philly only has Carbon Copy, which shout out to them, but and then two locals, which just opened up, and it's on two very like different sides of West Philly as well. And so
Yeah.
it's really cool to see that. It's definitely needed, especially something in that area that's open as early as they are, because that's another thing that's really weird with that area. Because being there at the high school, trying to get lunch some days, and like strictly, I'm just like I'm not even like messing around, like just strictly like lunch, not my liquid lunches, right?
You're saying like a lot of places open up like at 4 or something like that.
Four, they're definitely not open on a Monday. Some people aren't even open on a Tuesday, and it's just like where am I going to go eat here that isn't a Chipotle, that isn't a like Raising Cane's, Cadoba? Like, I'm just like, come on, give me a better option than this,
It's just the chain crap. Yeah.
right? Or like I can go to this place called like Banana or whatever like that, which they don't clean their draft lines. I can tell you that much. Uh, they had a location in South Street that I went to once, and I saw like mice running in the place.
It's like out
Like,
in the open.
yo, no, we're inside. Like, I'm just like,
Oh my God.
um, but no. So
Well, banana.
two locals is definitely needed. It's wonderful. They have their menu's nice. It's reminiscent of like Carbon Copy and in respect to very limited beer selection. They have a couple wines. They have a cider. And they have a couple cocktails that they offer as well. But it's smart. They're starting slow, going to build upon that, and overall just like a really good vibe. Um, and it just seems like there's a lot of excitement for that place. So I'm over the moon.
I'm I'm very jealous. And this is, I feel like this is just like a universal energy correction from my January and your January to now, where it's just like you had to suffer through the pains of
of
moist January, whatever you called it.
I
Drip, drip.
forgot that
January.
was the part of the list was to review dry
Yeah,
January.
dry. You're like, I'm gonna do a damp January. I'm like, what? What does that mean? And then I'm over here like having record-setting amounts of beer in
Like
like a
60
3 day
some
thing.
check-ins in 3 days.
69. Like it's an unruly amount. even for doing 5 ounce pours most of the time, that's still a ridiculous amount.
You don't get that at a beer festival.
No, you're right. Like you're like actually you can get there if you're trying, but like at a beer festival, you have to try hard to get there
You
because
have to be my dad to get to that many
well,
beers.
well then you don't have to try hard
No,
because he
no.
was
If you
trying to
are
get up.
with my dad, or if you were with my dad at a
Oh,
beer
okay. Yeah,
festival,
then you have
you
to
had
try.
to try to keep up. I
You
s-
know what it felt, you know what it felt like with him? It felt like your first like distance run that you do not by yourself, but like in a group or like at like something that you pay for, and
uh,
there's people there who actually do it. Like they're like you signed up for a 5K, and then there's people there just like practicing for a marathon, just trying to get like a little jog in, basically. And you're like, and they're just passing by.
I was actually on the treadmill earlier this week, and I was just like, I was doing like a little warm up. I was like, oh, 12-minute mile pace is what I'm at. That's what I did for my half marathon. My knee hurts. Okay, we're gonna have to slow this down.
First of all, that's kind of a flex. Like honestly, a 12-minute mile and a half marathon to me, like as an average pace, like to me, that's great.
That I didn't train for.
That's yeah. Well, I wasn't including that because I just assumed people knew, but I forgot that you're not normal. So is that yeah, that you didn't train for. So you were probably at least at like 10 flat-ish if you would have actually trained for it, if not lower.
Right.
And me, I'm over here like I think my best mile in general is like a 9.5-ish mile.
That's what I aim for. Like when I'm running, like if I'm going to go for like a run or something like that, I aim to like hit like a 10-minute mile.
Yeah, I feel like that's like that for us who aren't just running all the time. I feel like that's a generally decent time for that distance.
If you
For that
go
amount.
for that though, like right away, like so, I guess another context is like, yeah, I'm gonna go for that, but I'm gonna try to do like 5 miles at 10 minutes a mile.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
And so I remember like I had been doing that, like I had been running with people, and I had been doing a 10-minute mile or less consistently like 5 days a week, and then I missed it for like 3 years, and then got back into running. I was like, I'm gonna do a 10-minute mile,
A quick
and
blip for 3 years.
and then got back into the house and just dry heaved. Never threw up, but just dry heaved into the
Isn't
toilet.
that the worst though? Like there's nothing like
Just like get
you're
this over with.
it's all the worst parts without like the payoff of something actually happening and you're just still struggling forever.
Hmm.
So
But two locals, one of three black craft breweries in the state of Pennsylvania, which I think is fucking wild.
yeah, name those three for us, by the way.
Yeah, it's gonna be Harris Family Brewing Company. It's going to be Mac Brewing Company, and it's gonna be two locals.
And two of them are operating within Philadelphia. So that's already reducing like the true number of density. And then the other one has an affiliate. I think they're from Philly originally. They just happen to not be in Philly now.
Yeah, I mean, like Harris Family did collabs with Love City, so we're Eskimo brothers.
Right. Right. So it is a that's a crazy statistic you pointed out about only being three. But I'm happy that, once again, you got to at least celebrate the progress.
And up until a couple weeks ago, all three didn't have a location.
That's the wild part to me because the other two were established brewing and getting their stuff out to people longer. At least to me, they were more visible longer than two locals.
But two
Um,
locals had been in like stores.
they had been in stores, but like I guess for me, who is someone who isn't in the Philly area, directly in the Philly area, that I haven't seen two locals until like last year in stores.
You haven't seen two locals too local until recently.
Yeah, there hasn't been two local until recently, and now two locals is too local.
It's not too local. It can never be too local.
Couldn't be too local. Two locals could be too local because that'd be four locos,
No,
and
that'd
that.
be not because that would be too loco.
Anyway, I would love to finally physically meet both of these guys. I would love to hear their story. I think as you read off the description for the Lofa Lager, it kind of just sparked a whole conversation in my mind to have with them just about like the whole history of Liberia as a country in
Mm-hmm.
general is such an interesting and crazy history to a story to tell. And so I feel like I would love to just hear their story, hear their father's story,
Yeah,
uh,
let's.
and also just how like the Lofa Lager kind of relates back, like what made them go with a Lofa Lager to represent Lofa, Liberia. So
Yeah.
I've a lot there to kind of get into.
Yeah, we have a couple of things that we need to set up and get going. So I think that they would be a wonderful partnership to do that with. Their brewery looks nice. It looks clean. It's one of those like you can see it behind the bar.
Yeah,
Excuse me. It's a good portion of their space, and I'm very interested to hear more. They have been wonderful people. Every time I've gotten a chance to like talk to them, um, every time that I do see them, we get to say a little good to see you. But I know they'd be more than willing to sit down and talk to. So that'd be great to do. I'm very excited for that. And it's crazy. I think a lot of times we talk about how weird of a community it is to be in the black craft beer community. I've been looking at a lot of the N2BA, like the Black Brewers Association that has most
yeah,
recently formed, and like we're not members of anything, so like we do witness a lot of this from the outside, and so sometimes that kind of stuff can seem a little like we're not there yet, you know. But at the same time, like we listed all three of these craft breweries, black craft breweries, and we could go up and talk to any of them, and maybe it would take a little bit of a reminder of who we are. But I mean,
it's it's a
not that
testament.
much.
Yeah, I would say it's a testament back to like the actual idea of community and the fact that it feels like the black craft beer community really practices that essence of community. We see the people in the space and we're we're here to support, interact with them, and we actually value those people in the space. Um, and I think that's why we are where we are in terms of like the way we pivoted because of that.
Mm,
So originally we were just going to talk about whatever the fuck came to mind, right?
right. And I think
But
it
we
was.
pivoted so hard because we were like, oh shit, we love beer. It's beer related because we love beer, but also now we kind of have a community that accepts us.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. You know, sometimes I forget about this. Like, we didn't set out to do this podcast after meeting this community. We just both really enjoyed craft beer and realized, okay, we want to do a podcast because we usually talk around beer, and
Yeah,
let's make a show based off of that because like we're anybody with a podcast, right? Um, and then we very intentionally set out on the first episode to find a craft brewery that was black owned and realized that there was none. Our culture was represented in often cases, but like the ownership wasn't. And through
yeah,
trying to understand that is how we started to find and build this community, and it happened rather quickly. And then
it did.
still at that point we didn't have an interest, or we didn't realize we had an interest in brewing or potentially even owning a brewery. And I think, you know, after a couple of conversations of being black and craft beer with being black and craft on Clubhouse that I was doing, um, it became very evident like the statistic was still there, 1%, less than 1%. Like, what does that actually mean?
Yeah.
And even hearing it and like still understanding that like, yeah, only three breweries in PA still was like a shocking number because
It is
again,
a shocking
the
number.
the black beer, uh, the Black Craft Beer Festival in the
Yeah.
U.S.
The
happens in Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh doesn't have one.
yeah. The craft beer Black Craft Beer Festival. The with two E's.
Mm-hmm.
Not one E, but two E's. The craft black beer festival. That isn't just beer, mind you.
Right?
It's other things, other types of development, other types of community. But all of that in Pittsburgh and Pennsylvania, and excuse me, all three of the black breweries in Pennsylvania are on the eastern half of the state, which Pittsburgh is decidedly not on. They're all they're all at minimum 4 hours away, which is crazy. And to my knowledge, there's none in Ohio.
Oh yeah, I would have to like look at a list. Like that
Well,
should
I
be
was, I
something
was
we
even
learn.
talking to Ryan, and he doesn't know of any, and he was looking because I had
Oh,
sent him some of our candles. I sent him some candles, and
I gotta get better at that because I'd be snitching on the
sending candles.
world.
You gotta light it on fire. You set this burn this motherfucker down. Yeah, I sent Ryan some candles with the beautiful artwork we have here. The Alternative Blacks artwork. Like take that grand hat.
JY Young.
Yeah, but sent him some stuff out, and then he was looking to send some stuff back my way, and he was like, well, there's no black-owned breweries out here to draw candle inspiration from, and I was like, you know what, that just is what it is, I I'm not surprised, but at the same time, like you're saying,
Well,
when you
you know
think
what?
it sucks a little bit.
It all depends on what the metric is because I think
What's the
there are
metric?
apparently three. So Black
And what's
Frog Brewery
okay, Black Frog.
and
Never heard of Black Frog.
oh no, we should have because I'm pretty sure when we first started looking, that was one of the first ones to pop up. When we looked on that first day of our first episode.
You might be right.
Yeah, because we tried looking for it.
And fact check us on that. Go back and listen to the first episode and then re-listen to it and maybe listen to it another 10 times and then let us know.
It says Alematic, but something
Illmatic?
Alematic, um, artisan ales. But I want to fact check that one. That one feels incorrect.
That does feel incorrect, but we may just not be not knowledgeable enough.
But the one that I knew was half black owned, not like alternative half black owned, but like owned partially by somebody. So like I think Four Oranges, right?
Or oranges?
Like the one in New Jersey, not
Your city.
yeah, they're
City that's in
oranges. The Four
oranges.
Oranges, yeah, yeah. They're like a quarter black owned, right? Like
Right,
one of
right,
the
right.
four people, like whatever. Um, but Esoteric in Cincinnati, which I
That's
feel like I
weird.
got so close to when I was in Cincinnati, but we had already climbed a hill and we said, fuck this shit, we're going home. Um,
It was too esoteric to
yeah,
figure out.
exactly. They're black and Asian owned, so it's too minority owned.
Ooh,
So there are some. It's just
okay.
what is that? But it's what's the availability? What is the
But yeah, that's
what's
the
the
other thing
distribution?
because Ryan being in the Canton area, so it's a very so like that's straight up north, right? So like that's getting towards the Cleveland area, and if these places aren't there, which Ohio's kind of like Pennsylvania in the sense that everything is just spread out, you know, I can see that being an issue. where you wouldn't have even heard of something.
So the way you said Canton, Ohio,
Yeah, like North Canton
like
area,
NFL, like
like
Canton.
Hall of Fame, yeah. Like
So
CJ McCollum, no, more like CJ McCollum. He's from Canton, Ohio, man. What you
no, because like I got to deal with this
CJ
here,
McCollum?
and then when I walk upstairs, I got to deal with this stupid shit too.
Well, you
Like,
walk upstairs and deal with the stupid shit, and then come back down here and continue to deal with the stupid shit. Because I was shooting a basketball in the same gym that he was shooting a basketball in
so
at the same time.
okay, so I didn't do it at the same time, but I was still popular at Lehigh. I didn't
Well,
even go there.
well, screw you then.
I didn't even go there.
I've realized, like, looking back on things, my friends have had far more epic ventures at Lehigh while they were visiting in the limited time they did than I ever had. Because Harry's first visit to Lehigh was
The
when
Duke
Lehigh beat
Championship.
Duke. Yeah,
Oh, the championship. I'm sorry, that's a championship to me. I
yeah.
don't give a shit.
Everyone's going crazy, and Harry's just screaming, "I don't even go here." So there's that, and then you being you, you're the most popular person in the U house 12 hours into being there.
All I can say is I've gone to class at Lehigh.
You did go to class at what?
I received a Lehigh education at some point.
What class was it?
Oh, that was some sort of mathematics shit that left me fucking brain dead. I was trying to take notes. I legitimately was
Hold
trying to
on.
take notes.
I'm not remembering the specifics now. Did you like go with me to a class or
Yeah.
did you go to a class?
No, I went with you to a class. It was like,
So when you visited, I'm trying to triangulate. It was either Calc 3,
there it was.
it was yeah, or it was complex variables, which both of those are terrible.
Nah, that was god awful. God awful. Anyway,
Yeah.
um, distribution's a really like fucked up issue when it comes to these breweries. Um,
Yeah.
and it's almost like so when you go into a lot of these places, like the best distributors, the best like candy stores, as I like to call them. A lot of them are broken up in very good ways. Like, okay, here's your local, here's your West Coast, here's
Yeah.
your like Midwest, or here's your domestic import. But they'll even sometimes even break it down into like, okay, here's your hoppy shits, here's like lagers, here's all of this. But it it doesn't feel like it would be a crazy idea at this point to be like, and here's all of the like
Yeah, exactly.
minority owned,
All the black,
like
like it's not
black
that
woman, like minority, like anything, like LGBTQ plus, like
exactly
because
just
like you can throw
minority,
Trace in there, like right, like there's so
generally
many.
minority owned
Yeah, it's
in general.
and I think especially at a time where you see craft beer like not faltering, but like craft beer having like a struggle right now, from having such an incremental like growth rate, like just absolutely killing this shit
I
to,
would, yeah, I would definitely say it was exponential. Like
yeah.
it was. I know you took that math class and you weren't paying attention, but exponential versus just incremental, you know? The amount that you look like you're done with everyone, like you're done with this call, you're done with, I'm assuming Connor.
I'm done with this fucking job.
Yeah, and done with this job. Yeah, speaking of, before we move on to that though, I just wanted to say one thing. I think it's the fact that you brought up distribution kind of speaks to the two locals thing, where you're like, these guys have made such a mark, but only in such a way that the distributors allow, and the distributors have power when it comes to your visibility in other areas. And I feel like that's something to kind of dig into maybe on a full episode is distributors.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah, definitely for distributors. Another episode that'd be really good. No, sorry, I got distracted by a bunch of different things. Um,
Some bullshit about your job. Tell us
Oh
about your job.
no, no, I'm not even gonna get there yet. Like that's something for the tail end. Um,
Oh, teasing. Okay.
the yeah, distribution is wild. Like, cause we had the opportunity to sit or be sat on by Carbon Copy recently, and because Hannah,
Wait,
because
is this
Brendan
like
sat
you
on
on that
Hannah.
thing? Wait, what?
Because I told you Brendan sat on Hannah while we were at Meeting House, like on her lap,
I see now. Okay.
and
I'm putting this together and I'm like, at first I was like, what kind of eyes wide shut weird thing is happening here that's only like a craft Philly beer scene
I mean,
thing?
the lights were low. There was candle lights, a lot of white
Everyone was
people
drinking
looking
off their
around.
eyes were wide shut.
um, no, so we were there and having a conversation, and we were like, a lot of the places that we like to go, like Middle Child, um, and just all these like really interesting hubs for craft beer seem to have Carbon Copy. And I asked them, I was just like, are you working with a distributor? Like, how are you getting these like partnerships? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
Because it's intriguing. Because like again, like talking about, I want to talk about Dock Street and Middle Child and the fucking missed fucking opportunity being right across from each other still makes no
That
sense to
that
me.
that blows my
And
mind.
but Carbon Copy's in there. I was just like, Carbon Copy is nowhere at the production. And like, so what the fuck is going on? And he goes, no,
Yeah,
like
I was
it's literally just like the connections that he has, making the conversation, introducing himself, and being like, we would love to put our beer here, and then
oh, so
that being
he's like
it.
just going out and being like a half decent person and just asking. And you know what's crazy is see when the brewery happens, that is all you because I have high anxiety just from being on the phone with people. Which you'd think it's weird that okay, so
Well,
you're gonna have a podcast with somebody and you have anxiety with being on the phone,
so
but
do I though. Like, it's not
yeah,
like
but
I
it's
don't
not
get.
just the phone. The phone is better than people. So like it's a tier list, right? So people are at the bottom,
He thinks these
and
people.
then it's the phone, and then it's text message, and then it's nothing. And I'd like to operate at like the tier four nothing most of the time,
look,
but
look. Sometimes you're close to tier four with me, like, and like let's
yeah,
put
I'm
this into
supposed to tier four
perspective.
with like life.
Right. Let's talk about tier four. Tier four isn't like I don't know you, I'm not responding. Tier four might be like I send you a message and I get it like 3 days later.
3 days later, and I'm just like, I saw the message and I meant to respond in 5 minutes, and then life happened, and
And to put that into
all of a sudden,
perspective,
like, yeah, 3 days later, I'm just like,
and
oh shit, I'm supposed to. Okay,
to put that into perspective, we do a show every other week. So 14 days. So what? It's like 4 cycles of the 3 days missed.
listen, man, it's not. I was like, there's two people that I consistently respond to at all, and it's you and Alyssa. That's
I was
it.
gonna say it
Two
should be
people
your
that I
mom and Alyssa.
Well, I talk like my mom calls me, so that like that's a call thing. But like in terms of like text messaging and like keeping in touch, like
Yeah,
it's two people.
I know. And it's just it cracks me up every time
It's
because it's
like
just
no
like
one else.
it'll be like ask Chris a question. It might be like time sensitive. I'm like I can ask.
Yes. Is it coming back? I don't know because I'm unreliable. I'm
No, no, but
unreliable.
I've grown to love it. It's funny as shit. Um, but yeah, just
No, I don't mean any harm by it
right,
or it.
right. No, no, it's like one of those people. Like it just makes sense. Um, so whew,
The nicest way to say, hey, maybe therapy might be an option for you. Like if you just, I mean, if your insurance allows it, just take a session or two.
Oh my god. So,
So, what
well,
were you
I
saying?
I know we've had a couple more topics to get onto. We had a good little run right here. Um, what do we want to tackle next? Because we talked about talking about the Jay-Z thing. We talked about predictions for the Super Bowl. What else did we say we might want to talk about?
Those are the big guys. You had mentioned and been teasing about wanting to go off on your employer.
Oh, I'm gonna wait till I like after the scheduled bathroom break to do that. Um,
Facts. Okay, so I guess quickly, let's do the Super Bowl because
okay.
um, first of all, love the Super Bowl every year because Jesus, it's an excuse to go see Trey,
Yeah.
the man, the myth, the legend, and Casey and Theo. So great opportunity. You know, I have a weird feeling in the sense that like San Francisco, as an Eagles fan, San Francisco is just annoying at
Yeah.
this point. Because of how salty they've been like since last year. They've kind of been the salty losers of the playoffs. And oh, if we had our 16th round quarterback, undrafted quarterback, we would have beat you guys. But it's just like, oh, whatever. But we sucked this year. They were great, and now they're there, and they deserve to be there. Like
Yeah.
they are that talented and that good. And then you have kind of like I wouldn't say the new Patriots in a sense, but like they're
But
just
they're
always
getting annoying. Like,
but here's the thing, they're getting annoying, but like as an Eagles fan, you can't hate the Chiefs. Like I feel like if you hate the Chiefs as an Eagles fan, you're a Gen Xer and
hold up.
don't
Okay, no, that's fair because as a Philadelphian, uh,
oh boy, here we go.
apparently you can because lest we not forget,
Okay.
last year Philadelphia
Mm-hmm.
forced the Chiefs bar in Philadelphia to not stream the game. They closed the bar because
Okay.
that's how
Okay.
much shit they were getting.
Okay. Number one, I can't even say that because it's not true. Well, normal people that are also Eagles fans can't hate the Chiefs.
Okay, that's different. That's different. There we go.
Okay. All right. Because like yes, you're right about that. And there's the Chiefs bar shouldn't have closed down. That was bullshit.
I think it's hilarious because the Chiefs bar is definitely going to be open this year.
Oh my God, yeah. And no one's gonna care. In fact, there's probably gonna be Eagles fans in there. Like, yeah, fuck the 49ers.
Right.
But it's one of those things like Andy Reid was a great coach
Yeah.
in for so long and it didn't work out in the long run. And I think it was better for both parties to just separate and part ways. And it's worked out. I think generally it's worked out for both sides afterwards. Each side has won a Super Bowl and he's still pushing. He's won two, he's pushing towards more. And as a Jason Kelsey, huge fan of Jason Kelsey. I can't hate Travis Kelsey. I never have hated Travis Kelsey. I thought that was weird always that people hated him. But
I like him.
I do hate like the Taylor Swift shit. And that's the only thing that's going to be annoying is watching them cut to Taylor Swift every 5 seconds.
My God, I had the most
It's going to be
beautiful,
no halftime.
beautiful interaction with some high schoolers yesterday as I was doing a podcast with them, and they were
You,
like, they were like, first and foremost, Taylor Swift's one of the worst things to happen to not only music but to to humanity. They were
oh my
like, this, her like fake facade of feminism is bullshit. It is soaked in
white privilege.
white liberalism, and I'm just like, what? And they were like, she does such a fucking negative aspect of it because what happens is if you don't like her, then that makes you anti-feminist, and she has actually done nothing to anything besides white feminism, and that is fucking horrible. And I was just like,
Ooh.
keep going. Like I didn't say it. I'm like, go, because I can't say it. They expect it.
Yeah, you can't say it. It's too obvious coming from you.
Right.
No,
But no,
that is
yeah,
no, that's completely real, and it's kind of part of the. It's weird. It's like it's the chief ancillaries that are more annoying than the actual team and players.
yeah.
So you got like Patrick Mahomes' brother and wife who are just like weird, cringy,
I'm
weird.
sorry. Can we talk about his dad got it at like DWI like 2 weeks prior? Like
Yeah, but
you can't
like
contain yourself.
he a black athlete dad. I mean, what you gonna do, man? I don't know. He's talking about the fact that he was a baseball player is hilarious.
Right, and I think for that point too, I'm just like,
But but you are right
you
though.
can't
It's
keep your
the
distance
actual
at this
entire
time.
fan. Like the fact I respect Patrick Mahomes more because the fact that he has to deal with that and then still go out on the field and deal with having no offensive line, no running, half a running game half the time, and all the receivers eat butter popcorn before the game for half the season.
And I
Like
shouldn't eat popcorn.
yeah, and then the one time they have a cool play, the guy doesn't know how to stand next to the ball. He has to stand just ahead of the ball, and by just ahead, I mean like 3 feet ahead of the ball. Like, how do you not know you're offside? Like, all of that is just crazy, and the fact that he's handled that and he's still playing decently, and he's just like, I think this is the year. Like if he wins, I feel like this is his legendary year
Yeah,
where it's like, okay, now he's moved into legend status. Like real like it's like now it's not questionable.
right.
Where right now it's just like he's had a high peak, he's one of the most talented ever, but like is he actually a legend and successful?
Hmm.
If he wins now, I feel like he would be.
I
So
feel like I have like really no like. Usually going in, I have a very clear in my mind like, oh, this is who I want to win. I don't think I have that this year.
yeah.
I'm very much like I'm just hoping this is an entertaining game. Like I
Yeah.
hope they like just both put their best effort forward. I can only think of one game where I felt like I watched and I thought I was going to be disappointed and I was completely mind blown, and that would have been the Falcons Patriots game. And like not mind blown in a good way,
Exactly.
not in a
That's
good way, like just completely like what the fuck just happened.
yeah, what is going on
Yeah.
here?
But that's really my hot take on it is like I really I don't care. I have a feeling for some reason 49ers are going to pull it out, but I don't know.
Gonna pull it. I think hmm, something's just I just feel that like the Chiefs are gonna pull this one out. And I also feel sort of like you do, but I do think I'm like 60-40. Maybe it's not 60, maybe it's more like 55-45
Hmm.
on the Chiefs. Just as I'd like to, I wouldn't mind seeing them win another one. Like it wouldn't hurt me personally
Right.
as a Chiefs fan. Um, because I think just part of that is like the 49ers being annoying. But I also like George Kittle.
Yeah, exactly.
He
So
had a ring, I'd be like, oh, awesome.
if
But then
it,
it's like, ooh, I don't like Nick Bosa.
yeah, I don't think I'm going to be mad either way. But with that
I
being
won't
said,
be, yeah, I won't be mad either way, but I think I'd be
happier.
slightly higher than content one day instead of slightly
I,
just
I
content.
I think if the math is mathing, you're right. If Chiefs win, I think I'd be actually a little happier.
Yeah,
So, with that
that's
being said, before we move on to Jay Z, I'm going to take the designated bathroom break.
and so will I.
All right, see you in a second. holy shit, because I asked if you were ready to jump back in, and then you raised your glass to your mouth, and I saw some beautiful darkness. So before we talk about that beautiful darkness of Jay Z, what are you drinking?
Here. Oh wait. Sorry. So this here is actually it's a wild rice brown ale called Peasant Bread. It's from Burlington Beer Co. And
Peasant bread.
this guy's at a 5.5. But I mean, you want to talk about so a quick anecdote, if you will. I
What are you
I hit
poisoned?
what?
Are you poisoned?
Yeah, and this is the cure right here. So I was at I hit up Riker's Bottle Shop. Um,
When
yeah, I
did
think you can hit them up.
when did Rikers open up a bottle shop? I thought like they were thinking of closing that island.
Yeah, I drove all the way to New York. They're brewing some good stuff in there in the toilets, and I just it's some really just unique flavor profiles coming out of that. Um, yeah, so Rikers it's on West King Street in Lancaster.
Did you
I
know
went
they don't have like you can't sit down and have a beer? Like they have taps, but you can't drink.
You were so salty.
That hurt.
Like everywhere besides like Philly, that's what the thing is.
Mary's does it.
Yeah, because Mary's is a bar license.
I was like, yeah, I'll take a like. They looked at me like, what? I was like,
You could also taste anything you want. And while I was tasting them, she was handing me the pours. I'm like, Jesus Christ. They were hefty pours for just a taste.
I like that.
Yeah, they were like more than a shot as just tastes. So I was like, I would like to taste one of everything, please. Yeah, but and then I guess the guy who like runs everything, who does the beer ordering, I don't know if he actually owns it, but like he's like the guy. Really cool dude, really charismatic guy. He's just like showing me like he saw that I chose Mud Hen. He started talking about, oh, Mud Hen's great. Have you tried was it Tonewood? That's like
Oh yeah,
right in your area.
yeah,
Have
they're
you
good people.
been trying to get their stuff up our way? Like he's actually trying to get stuff from out of the area in. And then they also do they do like brewery features every Friday where
Right.
the 4 to 6. It's just like a tasting with different breweries. They have 0 Day from Harrisburg tomorrow.
Nice.
They're getting Dewey in. They had Tro's a couple weeks ago. So really cool spot. Uh, but as soon as I picked it, like I saw this beer and I was like, this sounds interesting. And as soon as I touched it, he was like, yes, get that 4 pack. If you like lagers, this is the one for you. And I was just like, okay, it's a brown ale. Now that I'm thinking about it, but like Burlington does really good lagers,
Right.
and like he's actually like selling you on like the case, which for the amount is like actually a really good
It is a
price for
bargain.
a lager. It's like less than $20 for a case of craft lagers.
Right now, I want you to buy a can. That's the most expensive shit you can do.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, like you can get a can of anything, but you're gonna pay like $8 for it,
Right.
or you can get this entire case for $19. Which one do you want to do? So it's just like really cool, dude. He was like pointing me to specific things in the cooler section. Like he's just really cool guy. Definitely hit going back there. But that being said, rice, wild rice brown ale. This thing is drinking. This thing's drinking closer to like a red ale. Like imagine like a just a slightly more caramelly red ale. That's what this thing's drinking like. It's not even drinking like a brown ale at all. It's the rice is really like lightening it up. It's amazing. Like 4.75 off the rip.
I thought you were gonna hit me on some like this is an imperial uh stout shit.
Well, you know what's funny though? I didn't get there, but Omni, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Pollo?
Omnipollo. I say Omnipollo, but like, is it
I
Omnipollo if
don't
it's
know, but that's like the Reading in
Belgian or
us.
whatever it
No,
is?
it's definitely the Reading in us coming out. Whereas like double L, that's a Y,
Om,
bitch.
Omnipollo? Does that mean
All the
all the
chicken.
chickens?
got,
This is
got,
all
got
the
some Latin going on. Like got some.
no, that if it's from Reading, then that's Beckett's. Anyway, anyway, Omnipollo, which
Fuck
if you
yeah.
find an Omnipollo beer, Polo, whatever it's called,
It's good.
but see, what I learned was they brew in America as well.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that's brewed in America is complete dog shit.
Mm.
The stuff they brew in Europe is the real deal. So make sure if you see an on the Polo on the Pollo can, if it has the label like you're used to seeing, like that only covers this much of the can, that's American. Don't buy it. If it's like if it covers the entire can, that was brewed in Europe. That's what you get. So don't spend your money.
Sorry, the cheat codes are just cheating.
I just get assassinated through the window as I say that.
You know what?
Hold on.
You
I'm just now noticing that you had a growler there.
you've earned a Voodoo Ranger sticker.
Why do you have a badge set there? Untapped badge set in the real life.
All right, we'll give you some more stickers. Do you want a founder sticker?
Why do it looks like you're giving out stuff for Halloween.
How about a Sly Fox sticker?
So when next October, when some 10-year-olds come to trick or treat, you're gonna be like, "All right, kids, how about a beer drinking is not a crime sticker?"
Aslan Brewing sticker.
You've got a founder's sticker. Very devious.
Pop quiz. Which brewery is this?
Fedora Brewing?
Sam Adams, bitch. I have a lot of stickers.
This is going off the rails, man.
Sorry.
In the best way possible, though. Let's keep going.
Okay. Let's see.
Just keep going.
Sterling Pig sticker.
Where's Sterling Pig at?
That'd be like Media PA.
Okay. Okay. I gotta check them out then.
Yeah, no, they're pretty good. They're decent. Revolution Brewing out in Chicago. This is Parkway. This is down in like outside of Charlotte, like a little outside. It's in Virginia. I got too pissed off of 80, 80, 81.
You're like you needed to go blow off some steam at a brewery.
I did. I actually gave them one of our beers, and they ended up hooking me up with a bunch of beer, some beer and a bunch of stickers.
Very nice.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. They were women owned.
Oh, awesome. That's
Yeah,
very
Urban Village. We like Urban Village here.
The Village is great.
Yeah. What else do I have? A bunch of more Sam Adams. Blackfin, American Pub. I don't even know what that was. I think that's a Hannah sticker. More Revolution. Ooh, what is this one? Oh!
Snitz Creek. I was just talking about how we needed to get back to Snitz Creek.
Oh, it's great. It's wonderful. Great experience whenever you go out there. And that beer still stands up.
Dude, that's why I want to go back. I want to just be like, it's like the opposite of wanting to go back to Sweet Baby Jesus every once in a while.
Right.
Where you go back to Sweet Baby Jesus because you're like, is this as bad as I remember it
Right.
being?
Let's hope it gets better.
Yeah. And honestly, for me, the last time I had it, I'm like, okay, this is just a this is just a boring, slightly tasteless version of Purple Monkey dishwasher.
Right.
And then Snitz Creek, I'm hoping I want to go back to it because I'm like, is this as good as I remember? Now that I like Roush beers and
Yeah.
smoke anything, I feel like that beer is going to be amazing because that's a beer that opened the door up.
It's crazy. It was like we liked this beer. We didn't know that we would like that style of beer, and we're just like, "Whoa, this is incredible!" But we didn't know anything about styles at that point. We're just like, "Oh, we'll try anything."
Yeah, and we're just like, whoa, a beer that tastes like meat?
Yeah.
No, ooh, gross.
um, but I think this is actually a really important conversation. I think it's going to be a very quick conversation.
Yeah.
It's the Jay-Z got awarded a Dr. Dre Impact Award at the Grammys. I don't know how like familiar you are with everything that like happened, right?
Nope,
And
not at all,
our boy
honestly.
Killer Mike got like handcuffed that night. He won best like rap album. He got like 3 Grammys that night, and then got hauled off in handcuffs at the end of the Grammys.
Hmm.
Check that shit because I think it's bullshit, and I think some other shit happened. They said he got into an altercation. I'm just like, oh, what? The guy that had this whole, oh, I'm gonna try to buy black and I can't do it, like type of thing, and somehow wins and coincidentally gets arrested. I think there's more going on. That's my conspiracy ass like shit coming
Hmm.
out, but like I think there's more
I need
going
to look
on.
into that.
Like it's fucking Killer Mike. It would only make sense. Um, that's neither here nor there. Um,
So where is it, Tyler?
but Jay Z got this Impact Award, and so he basically like ended up going off and saying like, how does somebody who has a record amount of Grammys, like the most Grammys ever, have never won best album? Like you consistently give it to this woman, this Taylor Swift girl,
It's lady.
right? But
Yeah.
categorically, you know, he goes out of everyone that's won, out of all of the black women that have ever, or black people that have ever won best album, it's been 4 people, and Taylor Swift has the exact like number. So it's just like, okay, whatever. Like we basically created all the music that is music, but whatever. Um, but
Yeah.
also the
Also,
person who has the most awards in this uh, organization never has seemingly won best album. That doesn't add up. You guys need to do better, or at
okay.
least attempt to get it right, or at least attempt to get close to it being right. And you haven't. You're failing, and this is no longer acceptable. Essentially, is what JC just like rambled on about.
Was it Rambo? So I didn't know about this when you brought it up
Yeah.
because I don't pay attention to anything apparently.
I mean, I've stopped paying attention. Like after like Oscar So White and like all this other stuff, and like I already knew how fucked up all this type of shit was. But
Okay, yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, like I don't pay well, I didn't pay attention to award shows before
before,
that.
yeah,
And then I purposely didn't pay attention to them after that.
right.
Like, you know what I mean? So, that is what it is. And I've realized over the years, obviously, that being nominated is more of the award
Mm-hmm.
than being chosen because the choosing of it is the nomination is also political in a way, but it's less political that
Than the
usually,
award.
yeah, usually if you have enough cachet in the industry that you're in and it was decently good enough, you're at least going to get nominated
What we
in
think
a.
about the thing about the Oscars, like if you look at the Academy, it's like over 60% like geriatric white men.
I was gonna say old white guys,
Right, and it's
but
just like how are you supposed to win in a subjective like thing? Because it's
so
all
now,
subjective. Movies, music, all this
yeah,
stuff. It's subjective.
so
It
now
changes from time
take
to time.
that, take that and extrapolate that to Congress. And now you know why we're struggling the way we are, folks. You heard it here first.
And no, but that's exactly right, and I think that's why it was an interesting like thing to bring up, and like people are like, "Oh, Jay-Z just basically said what Kanye said all those years ago." It's just like I'm gonna let you finish, but Beyonce had one of the best albums of all time, and while it's true in a sense, it's just like,
But yeah, but Kanye
how
won.
do you go about it?
How do you go about it? Kanye is unhinged. He
And needs
was
help.
unhinged at that time. And also, like, I don't know. Kanye is so, I guess at this point for me, Kanye is so over the fence that I can't even like come back to
No,
where he was years ago.
I agree. I
This
agree.
like,
I didn't like. I just brought it up because it had to be brought up. Like I can't like gloss over it. But like to the same
yeah,
point, it's just like, yeah, Jay Z also brought it up after he like solidified NFL contracts for halftime performances, and the question on him was always going to be like, okay, what do you do next? How do you keep it pushing? And like this was a very interesting way of keeping that pushing. Like, okay, cool, I'm here for like a recognition of a lifetime achievement, but at the same time, like, yo, what the fuck?
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think what the fuck. And listen, maybe I'm just a hater, and my heart's full of hate. But I've never in my life, and also I am admittedly, and I acknowledge, I am far from the target demographic of a Taylor Swift song, album, rollout, marketing, whatever, right? That I am clearly the first, I'm not the furthest person away,
But you're
like
not
from
close.
a official standpoint, but if I wasn't half white, I would be the furthest person away, you know? Everything else, I'm just the furthest person away from that demographic. And you know, I don't like her music at all. Like it's not even halfway catchy to me. It's just annoying to me.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
just feels like Starbucks.
we we
Feels like
played some of
Starbucks.
it.
It's all Starbucks.
We had some issues with our program today, and so we played some of it to help get the students out of the classroom. And so I was just like, I started singing it and whatever, and the site director, she looks at me and she goes, "Tyler, it's your last day. This is not how I want to remember." But at the same time, it's like I don't even actually find it catchy. It's just like it's so it. A lot of times, I feel like her songs are. If you played it and you told me to try to like sing lyrics that I don't know, I probably could.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you play something on the radio and blast it into people's minds and psyches long enough, they're gonna remember something
No,
about
I
it.
don't even remember. I don't even mean it in that. I mean, it could be a brand new fucking song from her, unreleased, no leaks, no nothing. Hit play, I could sing words.
Well, how much of that is her or the machine that's behind her writing all of this?
It's Drake. It's essentially where what I'm getting at here. It's
Drake Taylor,
you know what's coming. Like
Drake
you can
Swift.
guess it. Like it's a I wouldn't even say poorly written show because these shows do well. I think it's the cookie cutter show that you know what the storyline is. Like, oh, they're
Yeah,
going off this motif. Here we go.
this is the
Um,
she
you
found
know,
a formula years
I
ago.
was dating you. You broke my heart. You're an asshole. And then I found someone better. That person broke my heart because I was dating them. They're an asshole. I found someone.
Throwing a girl power there. Don't acknowledge racial issues. Bam, you got it.
I'm giving to underprivileged schools in the biggest city in America. I come from one of the most impoverished areas in America. Fuck that school district.
Yeah, fuck them.
Anyway, like
Fair,
I don't
she
want
went to one of the richest in the area
to. Yeah.
at the time, so whatever.
I don't want to harp too much on that. I think we finally hit a point where we can slowly start to wrap up the episode. I will give my quick unravel.
Unravel.
Oh, you know what? I I don't normally finish a 4 pack in a day,
In a day.
in an episode.
In an episode. Wait, what's happening? You only had two on this episode. Wait, you
Right,
only
but
had one
the fourth one's upstairs with Hannah.
already opened?
Yep.
Wait,
Um.
is this going to be a beer's worth of content?
Yeah.
All
No,
right, I'm
no,
gonna.
I don't think so. I'm not gonna try to keep it that long. Um.
What is
On
it long?
it's. Oh no! Get a beer. I'll do my quick backstory of where I worked and what was happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, welcome to Tyler, Washington. I joined Project Lift shortly after COVID happened. I left my advertising job thinking that I was going to go off on my own and do my own multimedia business, and COVID witty hit it, and I needed another way of making income because I had no clue what the future held. So I joined an after-school program within the city of Philadelphia during a time that it was virtual, and eventually had to go down to the city of Philadelphia. That's why I'm down here now, and I've over 3 years and 8 months made my way from program leader to program specialist to site director to program coordinator and site director to program coordinator, um, and was put into a position where my hours were cut. I tried to make up some hours, and then also got almost forced into a position that I was taking that position away from, and was going to be making equivalent money. So I was just like, you know what? No, I don't want to do it. And a bunch of shit happened. And so I got an opportunity finally to what I thought was going to be potentially make the same amount of money I was and have dual responsibilities, and found out that unsurprisingly wasn't advocated for in the way that I was expecting. And so what I thought was going to be what should have been what from I'm currently making a $14,000 difference only ended up being a $7,000 difference.
That's a lot
And
of money, brother.
so I said, hold up, here's a table of everything. This is what I want. And they said, well, based on how we operate, we can't offer you something else. This is what it is. So is it contingent on me working with Project Lift still? Because the whole point was to get me back up to here. Because if it's not contingent, I'll just take the job full time. And they're like, not contingent. I said, bet, I'll start Monday.
You just deuces. I am going to a place that is far less.
The amount of lying that I have heard, seen, have spoken to me, the illegal shit in 1 week that doesn't even scratch the surface of the illegal shit that's been happening this whole time has been mind fucking boggling. I was on a call today. I was on a call today talking about talking about the transition period of me like getting out of this fucking role, and it was like, yeah, any equipment that you have like personally like that is from Lyft or whatever like that, yeah, it's yours. It's our gift. I can't say that on the record, but I just keep it. I was like, I'm thankful that I'm still within PHMC because like the fact remains, all of my shit will be sitting at my desks. Like, I will not be bringing this into my home because if you dare try to, like, oh, we're missing equipment, go check this motherfucker out, you are not going to catch
Yeah,
me. But I know for a fact where all the other skeletons are buried. Like, don't get it twisted. Like,
yeah. You're about to redirect the hell out of the the authorities.
they thought they were going to fire me on the first thing.
That's wild to me. The fact that they walked in thinking you were going to get fired and you got a promotion offer, technically, is wild.
In the same week, just trying, like, watching them gaslight my coworkers, thinking that we don't talk to each other. Like,
It from what you told me, it feels like such like an old school business model in that like you rule with an iron fist by keeping the lowest rung fighting within each other.
but we don't do it.
And it's just like I feel like it's at the point where people don't realize in those upper mid management levels that
You know,
those
like
social norms that are in place that keep people from talking with each other
don't exist. Do you know how
exist.
hard it was to keep receipts originally? Like, how do I keep conversations like logs? Now it's literally I just had to take a screenshot and you would have no clue unless you have some significant like sophisticated programming that shows that I took a screenshot, which I know are like I know we don't have. Like
Hmm.
today, like so this week they completely bullshitted. I'm gonna put this out there. They bullshitted a audit on our program.
Let them
All
know.
hands on deck. All hands on deck. You know, this is Pennsylvania Department of Education.
Hey, my department.
Yeah,
Let them.
completely audited us. Like all hands on deck, which isn't a true representation of the program. Like so, this is like it's all bullshit to begin with.
Yeah.
Um, and so you know, one of our coworkers had a doctor's appointment for their kid that was supposed to be scheduled for that day. And that's scheduled a couple months in advance. And they were like, holy shit, did not realize that this was the day. Like, this is what I have going on. And they're like, well, you know, if you're going to do that, you have to take the, like, PTO and blah, blah, and all but insinuating, do not take that PTO, right? And so she doesn't. Come to find out only a couple hours prior to the audit that the audit is virtual. And she goes, wait, why am I here if this is a virtual audit?
They didn't tell you it was
Well,
virtual?
I knew she was never told. So, oh, mind you, I was told that I had to put on a program with less than 24 hours to go. It's like, I bet, whatever. Fine.
So basically, take a squat, whatever comes out,
And that's what I did.
program.
And so she's like, fine, whatever, I'll reschedule. She rescheduled it and ends up being this Friday, tomorrow. And tomorrow just happens to be our bi-weekly, like every other week, leadership meeting, which is sometimes in person, sometimes virtual, who knows. They won't tell us until the morning of, maybe an hour before. You know, not a good amount of time before we have to make like
An
a
hour
decision.
before.
Right, exactly.
Jesus Christ. Like,
So I know one of our workers has a doctor's appointment as well that she has to do that day. So she will either be going in and leaving early, or if it's virtual, it could work out that she can just head to it. Connor, what the fuck? I said I have a contractor coming in, so I'll log in virtually and then I'll leave halfway through it. And then so this other coworker says, I moved my kid's doctor's appointment to this Friday. I can log in virtual, or like I'll just have to like dip. And I said, well, you'll have to use 6 hours of like a full day of PTO, blah 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 blah. And she goes, hold up, Tyler logged in virtually the other week, and I didn't see any issue with that. Like blah blah blah. I was like, well, I see all the, and she was like, I see all the timesheets, all of this, blah 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 blah. I was like, if you see all the timesheets, you can check my timesheet from 2 weeks ago, and you guys approved it with no PTO and my full hours.
see,
So
that's the power that people think that we won't have. As I say we, like I'm not in I'm not in that situation by any means, but it's just like I like that he moved 2 feet.
yeah, you
He's
saw
like,
that.
hey, look, I'm moving, but just stopped.
Stop licking the fucking saw.
He's you in dog
He
form.
really is. I don't know
You're
what the
halfway
fuck.
to dog form already, so he's like super dog right now. Um, it's that power, right? That people think they don't have. That people,
Upstairs.
it's the audacity to think that hey, we're just letting things slide one time for someone, but because they're leaving, we can't really control them anymore, so we're just not going to care.
Right.
And then for someone that we think we still have control over, we're going to like bring the book down on them. And then that person being there
Yeah.
in the meeting and thinking, oh, they're not going to say something. To me, that's just like it's obviously bad management, but it's just like, how are you that dumb
I have
to
so much to just like unload on you, and unfortunate is I just realized I had to take another bathroom break, and I'm just gonna call the episode.
Wait, I don't like the where this is headed. What are we getting into here?
I have to run to the bathroom.
We're
But
unloading things.
I'm just gonna call the episode. But I will give an update on the next episode, but I want to like fill you in fully as we end this because it's like gonna be like last 5 minutes. No one's gonna know.
See,
But
see.
and I'm excited for next episode because that means we should be brewing some stuff. That there's some really interesting things going on, not just a metaphorical brewing, but physical brewing. So yeah, I really gotta go. Until next time.
Peace.